defines who they are. Palestinians have a culture filled with many traditions, one of those traditions being weddings. Palestinian weddings are a tradition that has been preserved for a very long period of time and still gets practiced today. Luckily for me, I've gotten the chance to experience a Palestinian wedding, which makes me a credible source, so believe me when I say how interesting and fascinating their weddings are. You can really tell how much the Palestinians love it. Palestinian weddings are a little more complicated yet amusing than the average American wedding. First you have the engagement, which is what I'll talk about first. Next I'll talk about the henna day, and last but not least, I will talk about the most important day, the wedding day. Alright, so we all know the typical proposal, right? Where someone gets down on one knee and proposes to their significant other. Okay, well, that's not really how the Palestinians do it. The groom actually has to go to the bride's father and ask for her hand in marriage. And if he agrees, he'll sip his cup of coffee and I'll go on from there. The engagement party is held and everyone celebrates the couple. Now this party isn't as big as the wedding, but it's still nice and fancy. The bride's family usually takes care of this party. It's filled with Arabic music, Arabic dancing, and Arabic sweets. It's just a fun night where the couple's loved ones get together to celebrate the engagement. The couple's engaged for about a few months, maybe even a year, until they actually get married. Okay, so let's fast forward to the week of the wedding. A day or two before the wedding, depending on the couple, they have a party specifically for henna. That's why it's called the henna day. Usually this party is reserved in a ballroom, and the room is basically split into two. One dance floor for the men and another dance floor for the women. At this party, of course, there's music, dancing, and delicious sweets, but it's mainly for the henna. The henna gets made on this day and drawn onto the bride's body. Other girls get henna tattoos as well. This event is very traditional and it screams culture. Many of the guests wear cultural outfits. The bride wears a very special dress called a thobe. It's a traditional Palestinian dress. There are many different kinds with many different kind of designs and colors. At the henna party, the bride and groom have at least two walkouts. One at the beginning, and the groom walks out first. He walks out with his men surrounding him while dancing. And then right after him, the bride comes out linking the arms of her two eldest uncles. And then the men surround her while dancing, and they walk her to the women's side. And then they dance. And then about an hour or two of dancing, the bride and groom actually go out for their second walkout, and the bride usually changes her dress into a better and prettier dress. But this time, instead of the men surrounding them while dancing, it's the family of the bride and groom, and they're holding flowers and candles and party favors. Okay, so now the day we've all been waiting for, the wedding day. This day, everyone gets up early. All the relatives of the bride and groom, they wake up early to get ready. The relatives of the groom go to his house for lunch, and the relatives of the bride go to her house for lunch. And then the relatives of the groom, they walk him out of his house so they could all go to the bride's house to walk her out. And after they walk her out of her house, they all go to the hotel and wait for the guests to arrive. The wedding actually starts at 8, so everyone's there just waiting for the guests to arrive. And when the guests arrive, the bride and groom scramble around trying to get ready for their grand walkout. This walkout is different because it has their family walking out first. Someone actually gets a microphone and announces the name of each family member, with the parents walking out first, the parents of the groom, and then the bride, and then their siblings, and they'll announce each name until they get to the bride and groom, and they'll walk out and have their grand entrance, and they'll dance for a bit, and then everyone will get up to join them. From every source that I've read, every person I've asked, and even myself, all the Palestinians do is dance. The men actually have their own dance. It's called the debka. It's a series of jumping and kicking. It sounds kind of funny when you describe it, but it's actually really cool to watch. The bride has her own dance. It's called the candlelight dance, where all the guests, the lady guests, grab a chair and they put it around the dance floor. And the bride comes out holding 2 lit candles, one in each hand, and everyone grabs flower petals, and they throw it gently at her way. And that beautiful dance ends a lovely but hectic night. Many people have different cultures and traditions. For Palestinian weddings, For Palestinians, weddings are one of many that is very important to them, which is what I discussed, their process, so to speak, of marriage. I informed you about the engagement, the wedding, and the henna. Culture is what defines each and every one of us individually as well as a whole. It makes us who we are as a person and brings out the greatest in us. It's best said by Gandhi, a nation's culture resides in the hearts and souls of the people. Now here are some pictures of my friend's wedding. Here's her henna picture. This is the traditional Palestinian dress. And then here's her family, and they're all wearing traditional dresses. That's her wedding. And this is the candles, but this is actually her mom and the groom's mom, and they're holding the candles wearing the traditional